Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Bobby Dotter, of course, who is the owner of SS Greenlight Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, who picked up their first win on Saturday at Auto Club in the Production Alliance 300. Of course, it works out when the sponsor's on your car there, Bobby, of course, with Cole Custer. How's it going there?
Really good. We were fortunate enough last year, we ran CODA with Cole and with Production Alliance. So we developed a little bit of a relationship there. And so that kind of helped us lead into what all went on this weekend, and was able to come away with a victory, which is unbelievable for a small team like us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows your history in NASCAR, of course, with you and then of course your father, in ARCA and all that stuff. What's it like? You've been around this sport for a long time. What's it been like to finally get this win?
Well, I was a driver for a long time, and transitioning over to the owner side of it after I was a little older and not having no luck finding sponsors, I haven't found the owner side to be quite as enjoyable as the driver side. So, having rookies and, having top tens and stuff's exciting, but it's not like winning races. And back when I was a driver, I was only fortunate enough to win one race at Motor Mile. And, to come here and just with high expectations, be able to qualify well, run up front, lead a lot of laps, overcome adversity with bad pit stops, multiple yellow flags and a red flag at the end. It was just so exciting and just a great experience.
I know you also made some news this offseason partnering with Stewart-Haas Racing. I know you're going to have, Cole. I think he'll be back with you guys, if I'm not mistaken. I think Chase is going to run with Chase Briscoe is going to run with you guys too.
Yeah, he's going to run Indy for us, and Cole is going to run CODA, I know for sure, Road America. Road courses is what most of the rest of our schedule as of this minute is. So we've got a lot of other good opportunities ahead, and, none of it would have happened, though, without the Graff family. Mr. Graff's the one that helped make this whole Stewart-Haas Alliance come together. And ultimately, our end game is we're trying to build this team to be a winning team for Joe Graff to win with. Yeah. Joe Graff's up and coming young driver. And, we've got a great crew chief now with Joe Williams, who we got in the middle of last year. He used to be with Brett Moffitt. And we've got a lot of good things that we've been able to put in place. And between Mr. Graff, a friend of his, Jeff Lefcourt, came in and became helpful in making this all come together. So we got a lot of good things, a lot of good people. Ford, Roush Yates, oh my God, we had, set up a second race with them. We get a win. So we got a lot of good things in place.
We talk about, alliances are we're seeing a lot of them, whether it's with Stewart-Haas or whether it's, RCR on the Chevy side or, on the Toyota side as well. Talk about what this partnership has meant to this team. And now you're back, you're running two cars. Of course, I think the second car was with Rick Ware Racing, if I'm not mistaken. And then now it's two full-time cars from your shop, the 07 and 08 cars. What's that like to have run the 07 and 08 again?
Well, it's kind of unique for me versus some other multi-car teams because each one of my teams kind of exists almost on its own. They're in two different shops. They have two different budgets. So they've kind of got to just act independently of each other. Unfortunately, we're off to a rough start with the 08, but we got, a great driver, David Starr, for the next few races. We're hoping to turn things around and get that team on track. It was a big transition switching to Fords. It was easier for my 07 team because we bought 7 cars from Stewart-Haas, new cars. So the cars were already Fords. They were already, oil systems, all that. Whereas my 08 team with David Starr, they were Chevys and they had to get switched to Fords, new oil systems. There's a lot of differences. So they've had a much rougher go of it here, trying to get their feet on the ground with the new program.
What's it like bringing? I know David Starr has been at this for a long time. What's it like bringing David into the fold again?
This is about his 4th go around with me, really. He's been, with us and left. And unfortunately, my team operates totally on drivers that can bring sponsorship with them. I'm not a rich guy. I can't, no matter how much I like you, no matter how good I think you are as a driver, I can't do it without the sponsor. So David will come and he'll have a sponsor, then I won't have a sponsor, so he leaves. So getting him back, we've got a comfort level there. the end of last year, he was driving for Carl Long. He had some excellent runs throughout last year. Didn't have a lot of great finishes, just things with flat tires at the end and this and that. But I just saw how, in equipment similar to what we were running last year, he was able to outrun us a number of times. So I know David still got the fire. I think pairing him with a young driver like Joe Graff, he can be still some help to Joe Graff. And he's very competitive. He's going to want to, even though Joe Graff's got, newer, maybe better equipment, David's going to want to try to outrun him. So that kind of, there's a little rivalry there, which isn't a bad thing, but there's one that's an underdog and the other one we just are trying to go to see if we can get him in the top 10.
Yeah. Of course, let's talk about Joe Graff Jr. for a second. I mean, 15th on the day. Yes, he wasn't in one of your cars because, of course, as we remember, the 08 car didn't miss. He was in the 08. Right. Cole was in the 07. Of course, now, and then he jumped into the 38 and got a 15th place finish off that. So I know a lot of people were talking about that whole thing, but what happened with all that? How did Joe get another? How to kind of go through that?
Well, it was obviously the first time out for a new car for Joe Graff. And we just had a lot of problems going out to practice. We had it appeared to be something wrong in the power steering, and that was a struggle for him. He had a brand new helmet made and the radio wasn't working correctly. We just had some things that we should have been more prepared and we weren't. I'll take that on my side, but we didn't give Joe a great chance. So he went out and did the best he could. He didn't qualify. The SEAG organization was very nice to come over and say, we might have an opportunity for you if you want to continue your points on and stuff. So we put it together, and for him to start at the back in a car he never sat in and drive up to 15, it just shows what he can do. I mean, I have no doubt in Joe Graff's ability. We get the confidence in him. We get in the equipment, like coming up here at Vegas, he's going to be in some really good stuff. So we're just wanting to move forward and get him to that mentality that I'm a top 15 now, and from there we can move forward. But we have to get there first. Last year was a struggle. We wrecked a lot. We had a lot of personnel change. We just didn't put together a great effort for him. So hopefully this year we got all the right stuff in place with the help of Mr. Graff and Jeff Lefcourt and, all of Roush people and stuff, the Roush Yates people, for engines, and the Stuart Haas. I just can't say enough about them. I've been involved with them now for about 5 years. Started out with flying, then I went to flying and pit crews. Now it's turned into an alliance with cars, flying, and a pit crew. So we've gotten very much involved with them, and they've just taken us on as a true alliance and a true, almost part of their team in some ways. So I can't say enough for them.
Besides Cole at Coda and Chase, who run the Indy Road Course, is it going to be Joe and David throughout most of the season?
That's the plan, yes. We're trying to by the time that David Starr got his program put together, we had already made a commitment to give Cole the races. So then we still wanted to keep Joe Graff running all the races to keep him up in driver points. So I had taken 5 of the 08 races and committed them to him. We could have possibly tried to run a third car, but we don't want to take away from our program. We want to make it stronger. So we just went David agreed and his sponsor agreed that they'd give up the 5 races that we needed. So, now with where we're at in points, we're going to just play it out and try to get the other car, whatever we can do to make the other car come up with points now too. Like I said, it's off to a rough start, but I know with David in there and stuff, we're going to start making some points.
Could we see more drivers in that car?
I've got a commitment with David for all the rest of the races. So I think we're pretty well set, okay. Unless something changes, and I certainly hope it doesn't. I just hope we go start performing and everyone's happy.
All right. Well, of course, going into Vegas this week, you're currently there right now working on the 08 car. Going into Vegas, coming off that big win, what's it going to be like to see? Of course, Joe's back in the 07. David will be back in the 08. What's that going to be like for the SS Greenlight team heading out to Vegas?
Well, again, we got seat changes and all that to do. The 07 car that won the race, we were only allowed to work on it on Thursday for 4 hours. It's kind of been sealed up till then. So we got a seat change. We got a lot of stuff to do to get it ready for Joe Graff. But, as a driver, which I used to be a driver, I know how exciting it is to get in a car that just won a race and just go out there. And at this point, like I said, realistic, all we're wanting to do is get solid, keep him up in points. And for, after rough start to the year, if he can go run top 15, top 20 for the first time out and have no problems, don't tear the car up, then we get stronger the next race out.
All right. Well, Bobby Dodder, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. And congrats on the win last week at Auto Club. Good luck this weekend in Vegas.
Thank you. Really enjoyed being on, and nothing feels as good as that win did. So thank you.
Absolutely.